This episode, we saw the end of Isshiki. Isshiki is finally dead. We did not get to see what's going to happen with him and Code, which will come in the very next episode, assuming that we even get one. It's very possible here that the anime goes on a hiatus or it just jumps into filler, as we're getting dangerously close to the manga at this point, which is only just a few episodes ahead. So because they're starting a new arc right now in the Boruto manga with Code and the androids and everything, I'm assuming that they're gonna just give us another 100 episodes of filler until the manga can get way ahead. But the major villain Isshiki was defeated as Kawaki outsmarted him. Now the entire time that Isshiki, or I should say Jigen, was raising Kawaki and testing him and beating him and everything like that, he always told Kawaki, you're not a ninja, you are nothing, you are just a vessel. And it wasn't until Naruto taught Kawaki how to use jutsus. And one of those jutsus he learned is Naruto's most famous, and that is the Shadow Clone Jutsu. So as Isshiki jumps up to grab Kawaki and hug him and implant his karma back onto Kawaki, his fingers start to crumble and fall off, and he realizes that he really is at the edge of his death. But as he tries to take over Kawaki's body, he realizes that that karma he had just placed was actually on a shadow clone, and that just doesn't work. He can't reincarnate through a shadow clone, and so as he almost turns to stone, the real Kawaki shows up, jumps on him, and shatters him into dust, which was incredibly satisfying, but only for a brief moment, as Boroshiki flew in and took out Sasuke's Rinnegan. Super painful to watch, seeing that kunai go right into his eyeball, and so Kawaki and Sasuke come up with a plan in order to revive Boruto by forcing Momoshiki to absorb some chakra, and in doing so it would wake up Boruto, because Momoshiki only comes out when Boruto runs completely out of chakra. And so Kawaki, by burning himself alive, forces Boroshiki to use the karma and absorb it, because he knows that Boroshiki needs Kawaki alive because he's still about 80% Otsutski by having karma for so long. This in turn allows Boruto to take back over, and the threat is subsided for now. So this was not one of the more crazy animated episodes, but it did have some really good storyboarding, had some really nice facial expressions and gestures, a lot of character acting, and it was definitely still up there for one of the more impactful episodes. There was so much good artwork, even all these zoom in of their eyeballs, there was all these shots of their eyeballs that were just glistening and glowing and everything. So really good art direction. Again, as I've been saying for the last few episodes, I mean, these episodes are just so colorful and just pleasing to the eyes to watch. They really killed it here yet again. So now let's talk about probably the most important aspect of the episode, and that is the farewell from the Nine-Tailed Fox. As Kurama tells Naruto, it seems our final moments are upon us, but he's really just talking about himself. He's saying it's our final moments, as if it's our final time to speak with each other, because I'm about to evaporate. But Naruto doesn't know this. He kind of lied to Naruto, or at least made a play on words to make it seem like they were both going to die. And he did this because he knew Naruto's nature, and he knew that if he told Naruto only I'm gonna die if you use the Baryon mode, he knows Naruto would have said, no way, I'm not risking your life, we'll figure out another way, which in turn probably would have lost them the battle. They probably would have lost to Ishiki, and it would have all been for nothing. So Kurama knew that the only way to get Naruto to use the Baryon mode and succeed again in the battle with Ishiki was basically just to lie to his face and say they're both going to die. And Kurama's even kind of being smooth here. I mean, in the beginning of the conversation, Naruto's even saying, it's sad, I wish I could say goodbye to Himawari and Hinata, and Kurama doesn't even tell him right there. He just lets him think for another few minutes that he's gonna die, right? And as they're having their conversation, they make a little analogy between how Boruto and Kawaki are very much like Naruto and Sasuke. Again, they're trying to pass the torch in this series, especially with losing Kurama and Sasuke losing the Rinnegan. Naruto and Sasuke are incredibly nerfed at this point, and they're probably not going to be able to fight too much more in the series. I mean, they still have some powers and jutsus and stuff, but they're not as overwhelmingly OP as they obviously used to be. And it appears that Kishimoto is writing it this way because, again, they're trying to really get the audience more invested in Boruto and Kawaki carrying the torch than always relying on Naruto and Sasuke for these big hype episodes, which personally I think is a huge mistake. I think you built on Naruto for so many years, and there's so many fans of him and Sasuke that if you want to introduce Boruto into the anime or the series, like fine, but I think the center of attention should still be on Naruto and Sasuke. But it appears that after this time skip that's going to happen very soon in the Boruto manga, Naruto and Sasuke are either not going to be there, they're going to die, they're going to be sealed in another dimension or something, and they're probably not going to be in the series much at all anymore after the time skip. But we still need some more chapters to figure out when exactly that is, what exactly is going to happen in Naruto and Sasuke, so still some time to figure that out. This is the big goodbye. This is pretty much the farewell to the old school fan base of Naruto and the welcome of the new age Boruto fan base. Naruto even makes an acknowledgement that while Kawaki and Naruto are only children, which is another reason that I think a lot of people feel like Naruto almost treats Kawaki more like a son than he even does his own son Boruto, because Naruto and Kawaki have probably more in common than Naruto and Boruto do. And he's saying that Sasuke, had a brother, and I wish I had a brother, but you were always with me, Kurama, kind of like a brother in your own right. And Kurama acknowledges that he had so much hatred in his heart, but Naruto, his secret special power is that anybody he battles with becomes his friend, right? And he was the only one who ever wanted to know Kurama's actual name. Everybody always used him as a tool and just called him the nine-tailed fox, and that was really like the defining moment for Kurama, why he chose to help out Naruto and give him his power and be on his side, was because Naruto asked him what his real name was, like actually cared about him, actually showed that I don't see you as just a monster, like I see you as a partner, which is actually the title of this episode. And that's when they give each other this fist bump, which is like the signature thing that Naruto did to befriend all of the tailed beasts and everything. And he says dying together like this doesn't sound so bad, and that's when Kurama drops the bomb on him. So he tells Naruto that when a tailed beast is removed from a Jinchuriki, they die, but in this case, since he's not being extracted from Naruto's body, more so his chakra is just like disappearing, like it was burned into nothing, Naruto will not die. So Naruto will be able to survive, but he tells Naruto, hey, look, you're not going to have the tailed beast chakra in you, or at least the nine tails chakra in you anymore. You got to be careful. You're not as superhuman as you used to be. But we do get this picture that shows that the other 8 tailed beasts are still inside Naruto. From the Great Ninja War in Naruto Shippuden, he still has the other tailed beasts in him, which was actually a topic of debate. We never really knew, did he still have that power within him? Could he go into Sage of Six Paths mode using their powers and everything from the end of Naruto Shippuden? And it appears that he still does. So while he may be nerfed by not having Kurama's power, he still has the power of the other 8 tailed beasts. So maybe Naruto isn't as nerfed as we believe, but we'll have to see moving forward if he's able to access their powers. So we see that Kurama starts to fade into dust, and a distraught Naruto asks him, please don't leave. You gotta remember that, Kurama's been with Naruto since he was a baby. So he's a big chunk of his character, like not only just having a demon fox inside of him, but he's been his partner, his friend, not friend for the whole series, but he's been with Naruto since he was a baby. And he's losing a huge chunk of himself, essentially. And it's a very emotional episode. I mean, I remember reading this in the manga and just not believing that, wow, it was Kurama this whole time, and seeing those farewell images of Naruto rippling in the water and Kurama fading into smoke and disappearing was like crushing to your heart. You can see Naruto surrounded by the other tailed beasts as they look on as Kurama fades away, and Naruto reaches out into the distance with a ton of frames, just reaching out for his friend who has just died and disappeared and vanished. And he's our friend too. I mean, if you grew up watching Naruto, to see Kurama go like this is pretty hard to watch. So as Naruto's reaching out for Kurama, Boruto grabs his hand and starts crying over his body. Yet another emotional moment because Boruto thought he was about to lose his father. Just some more incredibly well done character acting animation here, as the heroes of the story have succeeded and won, but not without any major cost. They lost Kurama and they lost the Rinnegan, but they were able to destroy and defeat, finally, Isshiki Otsutski. So now in the next episode, they're going to try and figure out how do we get home. Boruto still got the karma, so he should be able to just use the time-space jutsu. And minor spoilers here, he basically just uses Kawaki's help. They like hold hands or something. They're able to teleport everyone back to the Leaf Village. So that's going to happen in the next episode, and we're going to see the final image of Isshiki as he passes his will on to Code. But I don't know if we're even going to get that. It kind of the way they ended this episode, I feel like this is probably the end of the arc, and maybe all that stuff will happen when the anime returns, or maybe the next episode is the final episode before the anime shuts down and goes back to filler for a long time. We'll have to see. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I love the character acting in the episode. I think they did the emotional moments very well. And yeah, I mean, it was satisfying. It's sad to see Kurama go, but I liked it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you for the next one.